What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin today, BTC, specifically at the request of Elijah Went Up, requesting the top dog itself, man. Love to see it. Oh, is the music still on? It is still on. Okay, cool. We're going to go over the charts in just a second. I just want to leave the music on while I'm doing the intro. You guys, I've heard a lot of people today. I've heard a lot of bearish narratives, and I've heard a couple people calling for a bounce literally like at the prices we're at now, okay? To be fair, today we already had a momentary bounce that took us up about $2,000 higher than we are now, and we've reversed. So it's not encouraging, but it's not condemning either. I want to look at the Crypto Fear and Greed Index, and then we'll get into the analysis. I'll turn off the music. But for now, enjoy the musical signs. Look at this. Look at this, man. Tell me you're in a bull market without telling me you're in a bull market. You ready? You ready for it? 74, we're in levels of greed when we've dropped consistently, basically every day except for one, 17% overall on Bitcoin. Crazy, right? People are still not feeling it yet. Now, here's something. This is what I wanted to say earlier. I've heard a few people. Shout out to Eric Crown from Crown's Crypto. It used to be Crown's Crypto Cave, but now it's Eric Crown Crypto. Crown's Crypto Cave was so much cooler. It's the same thing though, man. If you guys don't know Eric Crown, you should look him up. He's a great mind in the space. I respect his opinions a lot. He uses a little bit more fancy indicators than I do. He has a different approach to TA, but I learned a lot from the psychology of like how to deal with yourself and your emotions from him through just watching him and watching. He's got a whole. Let's go over right now. Giving him a shout out. Let's go. Let's hear YouTube. Here we go. Watch. You do this. You'll be swamped, man. You won't be able to watch anything else for a while because there's a lot of info here. You click on his YouTube profile, you go to playlists, okay, and you see he's got all these different playlists, all of them for free. He'll teach you about options, he'll teach you about strategies and developments of breakdowns, whatever. If you scroll down here, the trading psychology series I think is just, dude, it is great. Any and all videos. He takes a different tone than he normally does. He's a funny guy. He's a silly guy. He's a bit vulgar. I enjoy that. Not everybody does. He's not like that in these videos. He's a lot more professional. He's professional no matter what. But it's a good series. It's a good series. I mean, if you click on it here, okay, hold up. I was not trying to do that. I don't know. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. He's literally got. Dude. He's got so many of them, and at a certain point, it does get a little bit repetitive. But these first ones with like these very long, like I don't know, man. Just go through all of them if you want, or at least a few of them. It's very worth it. And then I mean, there's a lot more than just those as well. But anyways, let me try to. How do I delete that? There we go. Eric Crown, man, and Kevin Spinson also. Kevin Spinson. This is him. Let's see. Hold on. Kevin Svensson, right there, this guy. The reason I'm giving both these guys a shout out today, even though they'll never see this video, is because both of them were saying that they've noticed that Bitcoin has had 20% drops on the whole way up here. Okay, so let me show you what I mean. All right, so from top to bottom here, 22% of a drop right there. Top to bottom here, you dropped 20.29%. Top to bottom here, you dropped, well, you can't really see it, but you dropped 21.85%. Top to bottom here, 21.59. So 20, 21, 21, 22. Very close, right? Very, very close. And so far from top to bottom, we've dropped 17.27%. So some people have been calling for the low to be in as of yesterday. I was watching a few videos today on some people calling for that. And maybe they're right, maybe they're not. I mean, it already looks like we've gone a little bit lower. And I do think we will go lower. But a lot of people, specifically like Kevin and Crown, but there are more people than just them who are calling for this 20% drop. That's at 58.8K essentially, and if we saw as much as a 22% drop, that could be at like 57K, which both of those areas, in my opinion, are suitable areas to find a low. 57K is right at the 1618, right at the golden extension itself. After seeing the 2618 being hit, pulling back to your 1618 for support, it's a very common maneuver to perform actually. My one thing holding me back from being so confident as to saying that's the low is that that does fall in line with these kind of expected drops we've seen. It almost makes me think one of two things is going to happen. One, we don't get as deep of a drop as we have every other time. People are expecting it to go lower and it just doesn't, and then boom, we go up higher. Or two, the opposite of that, which is we go lower. We see a 26% drop or a 30% drop, which would just be strange to me. But if we look back at the previous cycle even, okay, excluding the COVID dump, after like post-COVID here, from this high to this low, we dropped again 21%. I don't know about that, 16%. I don't know if that really counts there. It's kind of like a consolidation phase, but from this high to this low, 31.5%. Okay, so we have dropped a little bit more than that. And then here we had a big sell-off, before our final rally up, but I don't know. I really did expect to see more drops that were in like the 20% range. That's 26% there, something like that. I was expecting to see more. That wasn't quite what I was thinking I would see, but still, I'm just saying, we have seen 20% drops here. We could see bigger drops than just 20%. So while, yes, it would make sense from what we've seen so far on this whole run up, this kind of area would make sense at about 57K. Between 57, I don't think we'd stop at 58.8K at 20% of a drop from the recent all-time high. I don't think we'd stop there. I think being so close to the 1618, I think we would go down there. The only way that I would say we stop at about 58.8K, just below 59K, at about a 20% drop, the only way that I would say we stop there is if we move down and then move back up in the same day or same week and close above the 1886. If we can do that, okay, maybe we wick below and then we close. I could see that, but I am at this point expecting that we at least see 57K. We are at 61.6K now. I think we've got lower to go. And that's the main reason I was giving these guys shout outs in the beginning, because I'd noticed this before, but I hadn't really thought about it as of late, and I watched both of their videos today and I'm like, oh, that is actually that'll probably be a good thing to talk about. So piggybacking off of their ideas, I suppose, giving them credit where credit's due, even though again they probably won't ever see these videos. But you look at the daily RSI, we don't even need those videos to know, man. The daily RSI looks sad. Looks like it wants to go lower. Absolutely it does. The price action looks sad. You had a bearish engulfing candle. Biggest red day, you guys, that we've seen. I mean, dude, you guys. That's the biggest red day we've seen in a very long time. That might be the biggest red day we've seen since the bear market low. .6% there. Yeah, dude, seriously. We just saw the biggest, okay, right, 7.2%, man. 5.8, okay, right here maybe. 7.7. 8.44%. It's the biggest red day we've seen since the bear market low. Biggest red day we've seen. Okay. We're in the middle of the bull market. Okay. That could mean that we are near our low, but so far with the way the day looks, I do think we're going to go lower. If we look at the 4-hour time frame, 4-hour RSI looks very sad, man. So sad. So very, man, yeah, I don't like that at all. It makes sense. You probably do move down to 57K. Now, we could do something today where we move down more in the beginning of the day and then we end up closing the day green. We could, and I very much do believe that working our way down to 57K, it's not just going to be like this, right? It's not just going to be, hold on. Try to get it to where, I don't know why it's getting stuck up there. I can't like see where I'm at with 57K. Hold on, let me. It's like right there, essentially. So on our way down, moving down there, I doubt it's just a straight line down. We probably do, move down a little bit today and then move up the next day and then move down. We'll probably see, before we see 57K, we'll probably see 65K again, maybe even 67K again. But we're not going to see a higher high pertaining to this range. We're not going to see a higher high until 57K. That's my genuine opinion. This daily RSI looks sad, man. We were overbought for a while on the daily. We need to cool off. It's okay. It's healthy. It's very healthy stuff. And finding support on the 1618 extension after finding resistance on the 2618, it's a very common thing to do. It's a very normal, healthy thing to do, in my opinion. Yeah. I don't know if I have anything else that I want to say. The 1 hour is deceivingly bullish looking, actually. But to be fair, here, let me blow this up a little bit more. I mean, to be fair, you do have bullish divergence. You also have hidden bearish divergence. I don't know. I'm going to stand by what I said a second ago, which is that I think you go lower, but it's probably not going to be a straight line down. I think we will find our low around 57K. But before then, we could see 65K again, 66, 67K even before then. So we could move up today or tomorrow or the next day. But I definitely think we're working our way down. If we go through time here, this is something I haven't talked about for a long time, right? But first off, before I get into it, first off, we were very overbought on the RSI. We're at a 91 for Bitcoin. Okay, that's really hot. Okay, it only happens a few times or a handful of times in this thing's history. When we go up here and we come down this low, odds are we're going to get out of the overbought zone, and odds are that'll promote several weeks, if not multiple months, of consolidation to the downside. And in that time, we're not going to move down the whole time. We probably move down fast initially, like we're doing now, and then slowly grind our way down to that bottom. And then once we find the low, we don't just zoom off to the new highs. I mean, we could. It does happen sometimes, to be fair. But, here we found our low, and we consolidated still for 4 more weeks, and then we went up, okay? Here we found our low, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks. Then on the 5th week, we moved up a little bit, but we really didn't break out till the 7th week. You know what I mean? So here, found our low, and then immediately went up higher, sure. But oftentimes, more often than not, we find our low, and then we move sideways for a little bit. So I would expect that it will be probably after April before things really get bullish again. It'll probably be sometime in May or June before things really get bullish again, is my thoughts. I think we're going to be, but, I could be wrong. I really could be wrong, but I don't think I'm going to be proven wrong, but we'll see. What I wanted to go over was that, if we look at this for what it's worth here, from the very first halving that we ever had, okay, back in November of 2012, it was actually this week here, November of 2012, before the halving, we saw a dump from high to low of 50%, okay. This was before the halving, right? That was in November. This is in August, so that was 3 months before, essentially 3 months before. The next halving was in July of 2016, which is all the way over here. It was like July 9th, if I remember correctly, July 9th of 2016. So it was this week here. And in June, less than a month before, we found our high and we started the drop. So we actually dropped, going into the halving, we dropped a total of 40%. So 50%, 40%, whatever, right? Around the time of the halving, okay? We saw a drop before that, like well before that, but that was like a long, November to July is a longer stretch than August to November. Anyways, the next halving was May 11th, May 20th, I forget what it was. May something. Might have been May 11th of 2020. And prior to that, we saw a drop. We saw a pretty huge drop, the COVID drop, right? Even if it wasn't 63%, you want to say that's a COVID drop. Okay, let's take it to the weekly close. Still a 50% drop, which falls within this range that we have so far listed. Right now, you guys, the biggest drop that we have for Bitcoin happened back in January. It was a 21% drop, which is dramatically more tamed than what we've seen around these halving times. Okay, and I'm not expecting that we see a 49% drop or a 40% drop or a 50% drop. It's happened before. I'm not expecting that, because if we saw that, let's just say we saw a 40% drop, okay? 40% drop would take us down to 44K. And there's a lot of people out there who are saying if we drop below 50K, if we drop below 47K, then the bull market's over. And I just don't see that happening. I personally don't expect that we will go to 44K. I personally don't expect that we'll go to this level. But I don't know how people could say if we went to that level that the bull market's over, when we would just have a low, a higher low, a higher low, a higher low, and then yet again another higher low. I don't know how that would make sense. Where if you take this low point here, right here, and you tie it up with this low point here, we're still on trajectory with this line. I don't understand how anybody can say that that's the end of the bull market. To me, that doesn't make sense. Okay, we go back here. That'd be like saying here, if you break that line, this is the end of the bull market. No, we consolidated for a while, and then we didn't. It'd be like saying if you were here and you break this line, then it's the end of the bull market. Well, no, it wasn't, was it? You know, like it's I don't know. I don't really see, in my opinion, how forming a higher low would be the end of the bull market. But again, I don't think that we're going to go that low, but also to kind of put into confluence with that area, you know, this high weekly close that we had significant resistance here for a sustained amount of time. That's also at about 44K. Finding support on your most recent area of resistance that you broke out from. Also, how is that bearish? I just don't understand personally. And maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I'm wrong. But at your 786, Bitcoin loves its 786. Like, I personally, again, I don't expect Bitcoin to go to 44K. I don't. But if it did, it's okay. I don't think a lot of people are. I think a lot of people are saying if it goes below 50K, if it goes below 55K, if it goes below 57K, that the bull market's over, that we're really in trouble. And maybe we consolidate for more than just 2 to 3 months, maybe, you know, but the bull market's not going to be in trouble. We're forming a higher low at areas that are perfectly fine to find support on. So if we do go to 44K, I think we're okay. I'm not calling for that now, but again, the only reason I'm bringing that up is because based off of previous cycles around the halving, before the halving or going into the halving, we've seen at a minimum a 40% drop, which, hey, it's right there at 44K. Right there, man. So, and that's like the shallow end of it, let alone we've seen 50% drops. And I definitely, I don't think we're going to see that, but I do think this, being that we have the ETFs involved, we have more financial institutional money involved than we ever have before. It's completely justifiable to believe that we see a smaller correction in relativity to the halving than we've ever seen before. It makes sense to me. We're doing things different in relativity to the halving that we've ever done before. We're above all-time highs right now before the halving, okay? But for right now, so it's not confused, even though I've given a bunch of different numbers, I am holding true to the idea that we find support at 56.8K. Is that the area? Is that the real area? Oh, this is on the index. I want to go to Coinbase. That's why. High to low, 57K. Okay. I do think we'll find support around 57K, give or take a few $100s, right? And I mean, we could go all the way down to 52K and still be fine, let alone if we were to pull back all the way back down to this range, which I personally don't expect, but it could happen and we're still fine, you guys. So for now, all I'm trying to say is I do think we have lower to go. It's not going to happen tomorrow. It's not going to happen today. It's going to happen over the weeks, the months to come. It'll probably, I would assume we find our low either sometime by the end of this month or sometime before like the halving itself happens in April. But just because we find our low doesn't mean that we're going to pump immediately to new all-time highs. We'll probably consolidate for another few weeks or even a couple months after that. And then we'll go up. I think the end of May and June will be when things start to kick off again and start to get exciting. Sometimes the summers are boring for crypto, and sometimes they're not. I don't know. Let's do that real quick too. Hold on. BTC USD. Look at it on a monthly basis. Delete this here. So here, June was your top. So May and June were actually really good for Bitcoin, but then the rest of your summer was a drag, right? Here, May was kind of sad. June, July, August, September, all very neutral. So kind of a boring summer that you had there. Bear market, we're not going to count it. Here, again, May and June looking good, but this is prior to your halving, right? We're already prior to our halving. Similar kind of conditions, but just earlier in the year itself. Decent first half of the summer, not as good second half of the summer. And then here, later in 2017, May, June, July, August, all of those were great months. And yes, in July we pulled back, but we still moved up higher. And then the last cycle, summer was not necessarily kind. It brought us out of this, I suppose, but May was a green month, June was a stagnant month, July went up. I don't know. Based off of what I've just gone over, I feel like only once in a bull market has the summertime actually not been like decent. So I would think that actually you do continue to move up higher. Probably sometime, again, I'm going to stand by it, sometime at the end of May or in June. That's probably when things will start to get exciting again. That's just based off of what I have presented in front of me, based off of like how long I would think we consolidate for. Because again, I think we will find our low sometime either by the end of this month or before the halving, which is roughly about a month away. So do that, and then we probably consolidate for another month after that or longer. So a month after April would be the end of May, right? Because I say by the halving, it'll probably be closer to the halving if we don't find our low this month. And I'm kind of leaning toward it is in April, but I mean, it could be as early May. But I think late May and like sometime in June, somewhere in that area, that's when we're going to start to turn up again. That doesn't mean that's when we're breaking out to new all-time highs, but that just means that's when things start to get exciting again, if I really had to guess. So for now, guys, sit back, relax. We're going nowhere fast, nowhere but down. And again, 57K is the target that I personally have, but I don't expect it to happen overnight. And even though 57K is the target I personally have, we could go lower. We've seen it before. We've seen these kind of drops before, drops that could result in us going down to 50 or 44K. And where all these people are saying, that's the end of it. No more bull market. What do they say? What's the oldest saying in trading, in investing? It's when there's fear in the streets and blood on the streets. That's whenever you get in. That's when opportunity presents itself. That's when you strike. I didn't say it the best, but you know what I'm saying. And if that's what it takes to scare people out, to shake people out, and everybody on YouTube is saying the exact same thing, that I think 57K holds. I think 56K holds. I think 60K holds. If it goes below there, then there's time to panic. Okay, like if we have institutional money and we have bigger bags than we've ever had before, and if they have the capability to manipulate things a little bit, maybe they do, maybe they don't. I don't know. That's a conspiracy. But if they do, then wouldn't they want to suppress the prices down to where it makes people feel uneasy, where okay, they might start to panic sell, and that's where the low is, where we start to panic sell. That's where the higher low is, that just like it still looks good. Everybody's like, oh, if it goes below here, we're screwed. It's bad. But really, like, it would just look so fine if we went down here. It would look fine. It would look absolutely fine. But again, personally, I'm not calling for that. I think we're going to find support at 57K. I'm just more addressing the low side, the potential lower side, because if it happens, I don't want anybody to be scared out of their bags. I want you to be like, damn, I wish I sold the top so I could buy down here. But oh well, I know it's going to go back up. That's okay. I'm prepared for this, even though it's happening. I'm not going to be like all these people up here who are saying if this line breaks, then okay, it's going to zero, because we know that it could very well go down here and still have a higher low and still find support at areas where we had weekly resistance before, where it makes sense to find support, and still find support on this relative low to high 786 area and look phenomenal because we find support and resistance on our 786 time and time again with Bitcoin. Nothing to worry about. Nothing to worry about a higher low in a bull market, okay? Especially after seeing an immense run-up that we've never seen before, as far as like pre-halving shenanigans goes, where we've never seen a move all the way up to new all-time highs. But again, to be clear, one last time, I think 57K is where we're going. So I'm just going to end it there, guys. I don't know if I have anything else to say. I'm running in circles, and I find that when I run in circles, it's best to just end the video. So if you like the video, hit that like button, subscribe to see more. Again, 57K is my personal target that I expect us to go to before we start to consolidate further and move up. I don't think it'll happen in a short amount of time, and I even do believe we're at 61.1K right now. We could move up to 65K before moving down to 57K, okay? So it's not going to be a straight line. But if it is a straight line, cool. If we move to 57K tomorrow, cool. We got it out of the way, man. The faster we move down, the better, in my opinion. The more violent this volatility can be, the more hands it's going to shake out, and that shaking out of hands is what fuels the fire to the upside. Because then you get people panic selling, and then what happens whenever the price rebounds? Those same people that panic sold, they panic buy, and they buy. It sends it higher, man. So. Don't panic sell. Don't freak out, guys. Anything and everything can happen. We are in times that we've never seen before with Bitcoin. We've never seen all-time highs before the halving. All kinds of things can happen. And based off of what we've seen previously in previous cycles, from high to low, a 40% drop is expected. It's expected. And I'm not even calling for that, and most people aren't even calling for that. But I'm just saying that's like the minimum that we've gotten. Okay, so don't be scared of a higher low in the bull market. Don't be scared of coming in line with this trend line down here. Don't be like, okay, cool. What? Like that's not a bad trajectory at all. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I'm wrong. But we don't have a whole lot of volume either. Like maybe there's more OTC trading. I don't know. Maybe the volume would come in if we saw an immense sell-off, gave everybody an opportunity to buy back in. Eric Crown, shout out to Eric Crown one last time, because he said this a few times, where if you have institutional money involved, right? Like if you miss the boat, you miss the boat. But if the institutions miss the boat, they bring the boat back. So maybe they bring the boat back. Maybe. I don't know. That's all I got for you guys. If you liked the video, hit that like button, subscribe to see more. 57K is where I think we're going. Take care. Bye-bye.